Okay, hey, my carnivorous friends. Happy Friday Eve to anybody who happens to be here. Um, I just thought that I would have a stream so that everybody could just kick back and relax after a day's work. Like I said, it is Friday Eve. Yes, it is Friday Eve, everybody. So, hey, what's up, Mike? How's it going? Happy Friday Eve to you. See, we've got a couple of people in here so far, so that's good. I'm glad I'm not talking to myself. Got a couple of things that I'd like to talk about. For one thing, some of you all know that I got this Common Sense Labs book, and I tell you what. Oh, hey, Pam, how are you? Peachy. And yeah, we've got Bruce in the house. Howdy. Howdy. Yes, so I got the Common Sense Labs book, and I tell you, it doesn't just tell you what lab values are optimal and that kind of thing. It really explains what the tests are for, and it even goes into how you can monitor like your own blood sugar and stuff like that. So I really, really highly recommend that you all purchase this book if you haven't already. I'm surprised that I waited this long to get it. Wait, I'm surprised I waited this long to get it, but I'm so glad that I finally did. I thought that I understood. Now, I mean, I'm talking basic labs. I mean, I'm not talking about things like thyroid or anything, but this actually gets into a lot of really good detail that is beneficial. It just helps you, and it's in layman's terms, so you don't have to have some advanced degree, or you don't have to have a thesaurus or a dictionary, or have to sit and Google every 2 seconds to figure out what it is that they're talking about. So, yeah, Friday Eve makes the weekend seem closer. That it does. That it does. And hey there, yeah, rock on. Man, my music keeps me going. The music and carnivore, the two things that just really, well, two of the main things. I also get a lot of benefit out of my meditation and my morning walks. But man, music and carnivore, I mean, music's been with me since I was a teenager, and I can't, I know people that don't listen to music, and I'm just like, they don't, I can't comprehend that. It's just like my life has a soundtrack. uh, and from New Zealand, I believe that you are my first international person. This is fantastic. I've got a New Zealander. All right, NZ. Yes, I've done a little bit of reading. I believe that that's what people call it, is NZ. And one of the common things, what is that phrase that's used a lot? I'll have to think of it, but there's a phrase that, and it sounds like it's like there should be something like end of or something like that, and it's like end of what, or but maybe you can remind me of what that phrase is, because apparently it's used in like advertising and people say it all the time. So I want to visit New Zealand so bad. I've seen footage of places to hike, and of course there's the classic Harry Potter location and that kind of thing. So so yes, it is Friday 10 a.m. there. Oh man. So you guys are already, looking the weekend square in the eye then. So it's almost upon you. And of course, in a lovely spring day, see, we're entering into fall. And I love fall, but the problem is here in Tennessee, in the U.S., in Tennessee, the southern part of the U.S., or well, the deep South, they don't really have a whole lot of winter, but I'm like, I guess what you'd call in the mid South. And in the mid South, we just jump from fall right into winter. it doesn't seem like we get much of a fall. We have a period of maybe a couple of weeks or so where the leaves are just beautiful. So we go from like really hot, like it's been in like the lower 90s here today. And so we go from the really hot weather, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, you just have this cold snap and it's like, 25, and you're just like, what happened? So, oh yes, it is Lord of the Rings. Yep, that's right. It was not Harry Potter. I don't know why I said that. And I'm going to just tell you right now, I'm not a science fiction kind of, and I have not watched any of those movies. I may have seen like bits and pieces of some of them, but you're right. Yep, Lord of the Rings. That was a big verbal typo on my part, wasn't it? That was like sacrilege. There'd be some people that would like string me up for that. They're like, what? But then another thing that I thought I would mention and maybe get some input on is that I was gifted these wonderful, oh my goodness, talking about daffodils and magnolias. We have magnolias here in the South. Oh, and the little lambs. Yeah, my son doesn't. My son lives in the country. I live in a suburb, but my son lives in the country and he has goats. And so I joke around and ask him how my grandkids are doing. They're those little dwarf goats, and they're so cute. So now, I mean, he got them when they were like young, but then now they're fully grown, but they're still like really little, and so they still look like they're kids. But I'll ask my son how my grandkids are, because I have one grandson, my daughter's son, and he's 15, and I don't know. If my son and his wife are going to have kids or not. I think they want to, but we'll see. That may determine whether I retire from my day job. Oh, goats are great for mowing the lawn. Well, here's a little secret about goats that a lot of people don't know, is that yes, goats will eat anything, but the thing is they also will not eat something that they don't like. So like they pick and choose. So they might just chow down on one thing, and then like something that you really hope they'll eat, they may not like it, and so they won't eat it. I didn't know that either, but my son told me. Oh, goats are clever, and there are these goats that like when they get scared, they just like fall over, they just pass out. And I thought that's kind of wild. It's a defense mechanism that they have. Now, my son's goats don't do that, or at least they haven't that I know of. But I know that there are some that do. And that's kind of interesting there. Let's see, we had goats, and they ate all the tansy and thistles. It was fantastic. Yeah, if they eat what you want them to eat, then it's wonderful. They do keep my son's place trimmed up pretty well, but there are some things that they won't eat. And so you have to take care of that yourself. Oh, yeah. So anyway, I was gifted, and of course, I don't know if it's proper or not for me to say. So I'm going to cover up the name of it just because I'm not sure whether it'd be proper for me to say what brand this is. And it's not saying that it's bad, but I was gifted these bars. And they're carnivore bars. And actually, the ingredients are very clean. They have 27 grams of fat, 14 grams of protein. They do have 6 grams of carbs. But the ingredients are grass-fed beef, butter, tallow, and then raw local honey, which is where the carbs come from. I think that sounds pretty darn clean, because that's it. That's all that's in them. Hey, Nicole is here. How's it going? I made a faux pas earlier. I was talking about New Zealand and thought I was being clever, and instead I said that Harry Potter was filmed there instead of Lord of the Rings. So I'm just gonna laugh at myself about that, but I'm glad you're here, Nicole. Glad you're here. So yeah, I'm just talking about this bar. And there again, I'm not sure what's appropriate to disclose. I mean, I'm not saying anything bad about them. Actually, I'm saying some good things. So I'm debating on whether or not I'm going to eat any of these or not. I mean, it was a gift, and the ingredients are grass-fed beef, butter, tallow, and raw local honey. They have 27 grams of fat, 14 grams of protein, and 6 grams of carb. So I'm like, I mean, the ingredients are really clean, and I do go hiking and stuff. So this wouldn't be something that I would eat every day anyway. And the person who got me these knows that I enjoy hiking and stuff. And I don't eat like the regular granola bars and things like that. If I take something on a hike, it would be like beef jerky. And honestly, it's really difficult to find beef jerky that doesn't have a bunch of junk in it. I get some at the farmer's market sometimes, but just out somewhere, it's very difficult to find decent, some kind of a bar or something like that you could take and snack on. So I didn't think that sounded too bad either. And I think as long as it's not something that I eat every day, I don't expect it to taste like, I mean, according to the website, I looked on the website to get some more information, and this is the cleanest bar they have. Their other ones are very clean too, actually. I mean, but some of them have nuts and stuff like that in them, and this is like their basic. And they call it a carnivore bar, and it says "Go Pure Carnivore." And other than the little touch of honey that they've got in here, which I think I don't make it a habit of eating honey. I don't eat honey at all now, and I didn't eat it very much even when I was keto because, I mean, it's sugar basically. But I think maybe with the little amount that's in here I don't think I would be eating it very often. So I'm going to give it a try, and we'll see how it goes. I'm supposed to be going on a hike this weekend. So I want to tuck it in my backpack, and we'll see how it tastes. So yes, I'm going to try it. And it does my heart good when a person, they give such a thoughtful gift, because it really is thoughtful. And like I said, the ingredients are really clean in it. And it's just really nice that they gave me these. And so, yeah, I'm going to definitely eat them. Like I said, it'll just be a treat. It'll just be something that I have on occasion if I go to, when I go hiking or something, or if I'm just going to be out somewhere and I know that maybe I'll need something just to perk me up. And I know I'm not going to be going to a restaurant or going somewhere where I would have a meal. Then I could just have one or two of those in my pack or purse or whatever. And I think it would be a good, clean alternative. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Oh yeah. Don't do the honey in your coffee anymore. No, I used to once in a while I would put honey in my green tea, and I haven't drank green tea in quite a while, but I used to put lemon and a little bit of honey in there. Sort of like a liquorless toddy in a way. Yeah, down south, I'm sure maybe people made toddies everywhere, but here you would have, if you ever got sick or something, people would always suggest that you make a toddy. And the main ingredients in a toddy were honey, honey, lemon, a peppermint stick, and then some whiskey, like a shot of whiskey. And of course, I think we all know probably what made people feel better when they had a toddy. Let's see, if I ever lose weight and get in shape, I might add honey back in, but that may be a while. Yeah, I just know that if I have honey, that it makes my blood sugar go up. I guess partially my fears of becoming diabetic are just so, man, they're just like ingrained in me. And I probably could, have a little bit of honey periodically and it not affect me, I just don't want to do it. I mean, even when I was like ketovore and keto, I didn't have honey much. Like I said, I did put a little bit in my tea, and that was in the winter. I didn't, and I would always get it at the farmer's market. So like I've got honey in my cabinet that's been there for a long time. It might start crystallizing here before too long. I may just need to give most of it to my daughter, maybe keep a little bit for myself or something, but I don't know. I don't know that I'll ever, maybe I need to overcome that fear. I don't know if any of you all are like that, but in a sense, I'm afraid that if I ever open the gate, then it might be, oh, well, I'll eat a little bit of fruit, or, oh, I'll do this. And the next thing you know, you're slipping and sliding in a direction that you don't want to go. Oh, Bruce. So rum, people were putting rum in their toddies. It was always recommended whiskey around, that I knew of. But I suppose in a pinch, rum would do. Actually, rum would probably be pretty good. And you might like that a little too much. Christine says, I like honey and warm milk to help me sleep. Yeah. I never did try that. And my mother never, that I can remember, gave us that. Isn't that weird? I've heard of people doing that. Hey, low carb carnivore. Glad you're here. How's it going? Honey will last thousands of years, so you're good. Yeah, unless it starts to crystallize. I have had honey in my cabinet long enough to where it starts getting the little crystals in it. I guess it's starting to become sugar. Oh, so yeah, I'm gonna keep the bars. And like I said, I am very, very, very grateful that this person thought enough. It is a really thoughtful gift for somebody who likes to hike and they don't eat energy, like the typical granola bars or the energy bars that they sell, or God forbid, like the sports goo and stuff like that. I just stay away from that stuff, of course, since I'm carnivore. And this bar, low carb carnivore, I'll just tell you, I was gifted some bars, and of course, I don't know how much you can really like share in a video about a brand, especially if you don't sponsor them. But anyway, but it has 27 grams of fat, 14 grams of protein, and 6 grams of carbs. And the only ingredients that they have are grass-fed beef, butter, tallow, and a little bit of raw local honey. So that's where the 6 grams of carbs come from. But a very clean bar. So, okay. I actually have not yet. I have not listened to Theocracy yet, but I've got it written down, and I'm going to for sure. I look forward to it, and I'm not afraid of long songs. I'm a Rush fan. So, I can sit and listen to 2112 and, just chill. So I'm good with long songs. Oh gosh. Well, don't worry about commenting if you're driving, Bruce. Good grief. No, don't worry. Yeah, I'm just happy that you're listening. Yeah, please don't worry about comments if you're driving. You can always just leave a comment on the video later or something, but don't worry about it. But I'm so glad you're here, but be safe, please. And, oh man, thank you, Nicole. I appreciate you. I really do. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. And hey, we've got finally loving myself. Glad you're doing more lives. Well, thank you. I'm glad people are watching. I'm glad I'm not sitting here just talking to myself and feeling foolish. I'm getting the courage to post my first ever video. I just got so nervous. I understand. And you don't want to feel like you're babbling, and you don't, but look, just do it. You're carnivore for 18 months and down 120 pounds with about 75 more to go. Man, you go. Come on now. You've got something worth sharing. Look at that. And people will be so excited to follow along with you, and they'll get to see you as you progress. Come on now, and just make sure that somehow I know that you have started your channel, and I will definitely subscribe to you. Come on, we'll all subscribe to you. I'm pretty sure everybody on here will subscribe. So come on, you've got to do it. You've got something worth sharing. So just do it, and you'll get better. I have looked back at my first videos, and I'm thinking, oh, Lord, that was not good at all. But I just kept going, because you just learn and get better by doing. So just learn and get better by doing, and you can do it. I have faith in you. I mean, look at what you've accomplished so far. You're down 120 pounds. That is just phenomenal. And that 75, I mean, you got this licked. So yeah, come on. I mean, hey, look, you've accomplished so much. So just do it. Just do it. And we've got folks here in the group that'll subscribe, or folks here in the group, folks here in the stream, they'll subscribe. So come on. And the more you do it, I think the more that you'll get into it and enjoy it. It is awkward in the beginning. And I'll tell you what else is awkward is when you go live and, you push the button that says go live, and then you just start talking, and you just hope that people jump on. It's a little bit different when you're recording a video, because that people will be watching, or at least you hope somebody watches it in the future. But I mean, when you're live, you're just feeling like, oh gosh, well, I hope somebody joins in, because otherwise I'm going to feel kind of stupid. But I enjoy so much engaging with everybody. I do. Around here in the carnivore community, iron sharpens iron. We got you. And that is so true. That is so true. I mean, we do. We've got you. We've got you. And yeah, Christine's going to subscribe. So I bet you, okay, so you'll have at least 8. And I'm sure that you'll have way more than 8. Way more than that. And Mike says, Carrie is correct. This community will rally around you. We will. We will. And we'll celebrate with you too, because I love a good reason to celebrate. I mean, I try to celebrate something every day, whether it's finishing a project or going live or encouraging somebody, celebrating along with them. Maybe if they post some victories in a live, or just post a video that's got some victories. I love to encourage people, but I love to celebrate something. So, yep. Encouragement is what we do best. And we all need it. We definitely need it. It's great to have such a support system. I can't tell you how I just feel like I found my family. I have my close family. I've got some weird ones, in my extended family. I think we all do. And I mean, I'm sure that people think I'm weird too, and that's all right. I mean, I'd like to think that I'm just maybe like eclectic or creative. I'm a creative and not necessarily weird. But anyway, my regular family, my close family, my children mainly, are so supportive of me, and they don't say anything negative about the way I eat. And in fact, like my daughter is eating low carb, and she went on the Low Carb for Better Health convention with me a couple weekends ago. We got to see Dr. Barry, and got to it was wonderful. I got to meet Dr. Barry and Nisha, and I do need to get a picture. I had my picture taken with them and everything, but I need to get the image sent over here to my computer so that I can actually show y'all, or maybe I'll do a post about it too. But Yeah, it's fantastic. I was so excited, and I'm grinning from ear to ear in that picture, and I look kind of goofy, but I don't care. It was fun. Oh, okay. Mike did a 10-minute live a few hours ago. No one dropped by, so I just bailed. Worked out my out of sync audio, but this time it's crackly audio. Man, don't you love technical problems? But you've been in the biz. I mean, that's something that you have to just deal with and fight, isn't it? But you'll get it. I'm hoping that I sound okay to everybody. Um, I try to check and do the best I can with making sure everything is working right. But boy, you just never know. The technology gods, right? And boy, when they go on strike, they all go on strike. We used to joke around at work that all the computer equipment was in the same union because man, one would screw up and they all would. I mean, like one printer would not work or it would jam or just whatever, and it seemed like every printer on the floor would mess up. So we would joke about that. Yep, they're all in the same union. Let's see. Oh man, it was without warning. It was as much of a, yeah, like the other day when I did my first live, I was just doing it just to test and make sure everything was working and to practice because I've got some other streams coming up. I'm going to be a guest on some, and let's see, I've got one of them is already out there scheduled, and then I've got a couple that are coming up that I'm going to schedule as well. I've just got to get the thumbnails done for them. So that's going to be fun and exciting. I like it. I like talking to you guys. And I think what I might do though is maybe here soon is invite maybe some of you all, like would one of you all at some point want to be like a guest, like I could host the live and then you could just pop in and shoot, we could have, 3 or 4 of us and just have a nice discussion, and then who knows where it might go. We could even do like a regular show. We could get Mike. We could do. Let's see, who else could we get? We could get Hoosier. Maybe we can see if Hoosier wants to be on. So I mean, the possibilities are endless. So we'll figure something out. So let's see what we got. Oh, yeah. Well, they can be fun. We print a lot less now since remote working and that kind of thing. It was funny when we went to clean out our cubicles from when we were at home for a while and our stuff just stayed there, and then we had, and then of course it was too dangerous. I mean, and I'm not saying COVID wasn't anything, but I'm just saying, I mean, it was a good while before we could go back to the office to get anything. And then they decided that they were just going to close or reduce the office size and instead make more communal areas and little temporary workstations and little meeting spots where you could just have like a little session together as a group. And then they had, in conference rooms. So basically I went ahead and went to go get my stuff because they had us come in waves to get our stuff. And I threw like 95% of all that crap away. I put it in the shred bin. I was like, yeah, I don't need all this paper. I don't need it anymore. Once in a while, I do have a printer here at home that I use, and I actually use it more for my personal use than I have for work. So I'm getting popular. Well, I hope so. I hope and another thing is I would like to be popular. But another thing I also want to do, hopefully I am, is encouraging people and just being here for them. Just even if I can't give you a solution to your problem, I can always listen. I can listen. I can maybe, if I may know of a resource that I can offer you, but at the very least, I at least want to be here just to help and support in any way I can. That I really do want to do that. And I hope I am. I do. I hope I am. Let's see. I got me a New York strip. I'm eating cooked in the sous vide. Oh, sweet. Yeah, I'm thinking about getting one of those. I've actually thought about getting several different things, and I've got to find out what that is that my daughter has. I had talked about that before, and I need to ask her exactly what it is. But she is Miss Bargain Queen. She had like Kohl's Cash and I don't know, like it was on, the item was on sale and just all this. She had all these discounts. And so she got it for like a fraction of what it cost. And when I went to go buy one, it was going to be about $300, whatever this thing is. But she does her steaks and her burgers and just all kinds of stuff in that thing. And it's easy to clean. It's got a rack in it. I've just got to find out exactly what that thing is, and maybe I can get one, but I'm going to have to do better at somehow getting discounts and coupons or timing it right or something. But it's funny, like last summer, she got this patio furniture. She had her eye on it forever. And then it was like they would mark it down and mark it down. And she ended up getting this patio furniture for like $200. It was like a couple thousand. It was ridiculous because it was combined with coupon or like, what is it, loyalty points. Plus she was an employee where it was being sold. Plus, I mean, just all these things factored in. And so she got that stuff for like little and nothing. And I don't know how she does it. She just times it right, I guess. So, exactly. That's the point of getting popular, spreading the good news and supporting each other. Yes, yes. And I have to admit, because it wouldn't take, I've been with my employer for almost 35 years. And I started there when I was pretty young. And they have been good to me. However, the line of work, there's more and more red tape and things that you have, hoops that you have to jump through. And I sort of want to get into more creative pursuits. And I would love to just like encourage people all day. I'd love to do something like this all day. I mean, this wouldn't feel like work to me at all. It would be fun and it would be rewarding, which is and the data that I provide and the things that I do related for work, there's an underlying purpose that's good, but I don't feel that intimately. Logically, I know that it is useful and it's being asked for and reported on for a good reason, but it just doesn't, I don't see any result of it personally. Like I can't interact with a person that this benefited, if that makes sense. So it may or may not. Let's see. If anything good came out of the illness that shall not be named, it made working from home a thing for a lot more people. And at first I struggled with that. It was, although it's really funny because on the one hand I suffered with anxiety, but for another, I really did like people in general. And I've always believed the good in people in general. And I would there were so many people. For a while, I sat in the front of the row at the office. So my cubicle was right there. So I became like the Walmart greeter, and I would say hello to everybody. And then it was hilarious. I finally got the opportunity to move to the back of the row because my work requires a lot of concentration, writing queries and pulling data and that kind of work. Not saying that other people's work doesn't require concentration, but sometimes it can get really intense. And the break room was across from where I was too. And so sometimes it would get so noisy. So anyway, I moved to the very back and people were freaking out. They thought I was gone. So I put a sign up there that says, I didn't quit. I'm in the back of the row. Oh, too funny. Okay, let's see. Where on a cow does a New York strip come from? I should know that the answer to that question, but I don't. Maybe one of these other, more expert carnivores knows the answer, but I don't know. And look, Hoosier's in the house. Hey, how's it going? I was just talking earlier about possibly, doing what I'm doing now, going live, but just having like one or two people just join me. And if you're interested, then we can set something up. I think it would be fun. And this time I'll make sure that the time zone is is clear. I don't know if anybody saw the notification for this stream, but I made sure that I indicated the correct time zone just so that people would know. Oh gosh. And Mike's the guy who goofs off and brings productivity down. Well, when you're like me and you're the Walmart greeter, you can, if you're not careful, you can talk a little too much. And then the next thing you know, you're like, oh crap, I've got stuff I got to do. I need to quit. Let's see. Hoosier says that the New York strip steak comes from the top part of the short loin behind the ribs. Okay. I wonder if I'll remember that. Oh, Hoosier lives in a meat locker. Well, yeah, duh. So he should know. This is true. Oh, the fact that you are carnivore but not from the overweight, obese end of the spectrum makes you a rare and important voice to be heard. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I do. What was his name? Aaron Edwards, is that his name? I know his first name is Eron, Aaron. And I watch his videos, but there really aren't very many people. Well, I think he's the only one that I've found who is carnivore that, well, besides Primal Mike. I mean, he is also trying to, gain some weight and some muscle. And it is a struggle. And if you've ever had somebody tell you that they're concerned that you're losing too much weight, or they're concerned that you are not getting the nutrients, and then saying that you look sick, it can be hard. I don't want to look like a sick vegan. And of course, there again, anybody, you can eat. I am all for people eating what they want to eat. But it is known that in general, a lot of the vegans, they don't look healthy. Now, I feel great. I feel fantastic. I have energy and my anxiety is gone. I would have never done this, y'all. There would be no way I would do this just a few months ago, even though I like people and I would talk to them like at work and stuff. I mean, putting myself out on YouTube, and you got to have a thick skin. And of course, if you have people personally who will tell you that you look sick, then I guess if you got some bot on the internet telling you the same thing, it's like, whatever. Or maybe my skin is getting a little thicker now that I've gotten old too. You never know. Let's see. Magnus. Hello, Magnus. Working from home has given me the ability to do things like cure meat. Oh, yeah. I am currently vac sealing 20 pounds of smoked salami. Ooh. Okay. Where do you live? Oh, okay. Oh, and we're talking. Yeah. Aaron. Yeah. I've seen him too, and I think he was vegetarian for a long time. He was, and he got really, really thin. And I've watched quite a few of his videos, and I've actually implemented some of the, or taken to heart some of the things he said. Like, he's one of the people that was talking about the lifting weights that are really heavy and going through the motion very slowly, and talking about ways that you can increase your intake. Oh, he's really knowledgeable, and he experiments, and it's worked. I mean, because you can look at before and after, and it's remarkable. Now, I think part of his thing too is that he just wasn't healthy. I think my diet was pretty good when I was like keto and ketovore. So I don't think I was unhealthy. So that's another thing to factor in, I suppose, in terms of like why he's had such phenomenal results. I think part of it was just he was getting that nutrition in that he hadn't had in a long time. Let's see. Christine was wondering if it was like the porterhouse. It took her a while to figure out that ribeye is a Scotch fillet. Isn't it funny how different people have different terms for things? And it can be very easy to misunderstand what a person's talking about if you're not careful. Okay. Low Carb Carnivore says, I'm going to get me a chuck roast, season it, put some butter on it, and wrap that baby up in several layers of tin foil and cook it in the oven at 225 for 4 to 5 hours. And I read that in a very Southern accent because that's just how I heard it in my head as I was reading it. Yep. That sounds, oh yeah. Season it, put butter on it. Oh, it'd be so tender. Oh my gosh. Man, that sounds great. If you look at videos from the 20s and 30s, everyone looked like they were carnivore. Well, that's true. That is true. And and in the 20s, though, like the way women dressed, they, it was like they were flat chested, or, you know what I'm saying? It was, like the flapper look, where the dresses were long waisted and they were going for that elongated look. So I would have probably fit in pretty well back then, or in the 60s when Twiggy was big. And see, I grew up in the 80s, and of course, you know what was popular then? Video vamps. And I wanted to be a video vamp so bad and got nowhere close to it. And then there was all these let's get physical people, and they could rock that fitness wear craze because they were shapelier. And y'all remember leg warmers and all that. Well, most of you probably don't remember. Maybe some of you do. Anyway, I couldn't rock the video vamp look or the let's get physical, look either. So I used to think that maybe I was just born in the wrong decade, or a teenager in the wrong decade. And maybe I would have fit in a little more if I would have been around in the 60s. And then plus it would have been easier for me to go braless too. When people were burning their bras and all that stuff. So, let's see. I remember headbands and leg warmers. Oh yeah. Yep. And then the 80s hair too. And of course I've got fine hair. In terms of not fine as ooh, you've got fine hair. I've got fine hair as in texture, and like it just gets fly away real easy. And trying to get mine to spike, or, to do gosh, you'd have to use like a can of hairspray. And even then it would just like wilt after about an hour. It would look like I hadn't done much of anything. But I just wanted to be a video vamp so bad, and it didn't happen. So, but here I am. I've come to terms for the most part, and I'm thankful that I have a body that works great, and I'm thankful um, that I do have what I have, because there are those who are less fortunate, and I just I find that it helps me to be grateful. And this may sound silly, but every night before I go to bed, I just list out things that I'm grateful for, and I just say them like a prayer. And and in the morning, when I meditate, that's part of my meditation, is things that I'm grateful for, and envisioning a good future, and envisioning how my day is going to go, the things that I'm going to get done and do, and also just successes, and just picturing pleasant interactions instead of arguments, and picture figuring out the solution to a problem. So those are some of the things that I do to just help my outlook. And that's not to say it's all unicorns and roses, because believe me, it's not. However, I certainly enjoy my days a lot more when I look at things like that. Let's see. First, let's see. Oh, Christine was born in the 50s. So she lived through it all and survived. Yep, wear that badge of honor. And we boomers rock. I I think I'm a Gen Xer. I think. I don't think I'm a boomer, but I'm close enough. I might be on the cusp. I don't know. I'm 57. I think once I looked that up, and I think I'm like barely in the Gen Xer group. And then Low Carb Carnivore says, been thinking and I have a theory. I think I've been focusing too hard on being carnivore to the point of obsession. And that led me to think about, okay, I'm not seeing, oh, here we go. Okay. If this is truly a lifestyle change, then things will eventually happen and my body will give in and submit to this way of eating, only a matter of time. Okay, let me think about what I just read for a minute there. Well, not a minute, that would bore you to death, but let me go back up to this other one. Okay, that you've been focusing too hard to be on carnivore to the point of obsession. And that can happen. And I talked about this the other day, about when people obsess about their lab numbers, and like whether they have ketones, like what their ketone measurement is, like whether it's a 0.2 or whether it's 5 or something. I'm not even sure what a good ketone reading is. I know that when I get my labs done and they do the urinalysis every year, that I have a trace of ketones, and that's about all I know about it. I've never tracked them, and I know that there are a lot of people out there that do. So maybe sometimes you can get a little obsessed, and it can also cause you stress to get, where you're just thinking about it to the point, either you get analysis of the paralysis of the analysis. See, I'm left-handed and I do everything backwards. Okay. I always want to say that backwards. So you can, just be stuck, or you can, I'm trying to think of the right way to say it. I think sometimes when we relax, and that's not to say to just eat whatever, but have your guidelines on what you're going to eat or not, but then just don't focus on, because like sometimes, for example, like people will ask Dr. Berry all kinds of questions like, oh, I had a pain in my lower back. Is it carnivore or is it keto, or whichever it is that the person started, that kind of thing. And I think we can get a little obsessed and think that diet is causing some things that maybe it isn't, if that makes sense. So yeah, so if it's a lifestyle change, then things will eventually happen and your body will give in. And I think so. Now, low carb, you started out low carb though. How long have you been carnivore? that might have something to do with it, because depending on, like, I went into carnivore from ketovore, which means I was eating like less than 10 grams of carbs a day anyway, basically, for the most part. I didn't really call myself a ketovore because I didn't really know about ketovore then, but I was barely eating any vegetables and I didn't eat fruit. Once in a blue moon, I might put berries in my full fat Greek yogurt, for example, but overall, I didn't even eat berries very often. So I would consider myself of being ketovore at the time that I stumbled into carnivore. But even if you're what they call low carb, I mean, depending on, like, if you're used to eating 50 grams of carbs and then all of a sudden you jump down to zero, that's an adjustment period. Now, you're not going to have as much of an adjustment period, I don't think, as somebody who was just eating sad, but you are going to have more of an adjustment than, like, say, somebody like me. I mean, there really wasn't much of an adjustment. The only thing I noticed, though, is that it was just, oh, I'm not exactly sure how long it was. It wasn't very long before I just realized how great I felt. And I can't believe the difference of just eliminating just those few vegetables that I did eat. But I was eating a little more meat too, I guess. I'm just not sure what did it. But and this was before I discovered, like, or tried the sardines and cod liver too. So I hadn't tried those things yet, and I wasn't getting extra nutrients from that. So I'm not really sure what made me feel so much better eating this way. But give yourself some time, just depending on how long you have been eating carnivore. And I think another thing is, I am impatient. I admit it. And I identify with anybody who is. So, oh gosh. And okay, any of y'all do this? Any of you take an alternate route so you don't have to sit in traffic, even though you know the alternate route's further, and it might be a little faster, but at least you're moving the whole time. So you just go the other way instead of staying where you are. Or you could be like me and do this. You get in line at the grocery store, and then you're like, oh man, this is taking forever. And so then you go to another line because you think it might be faster. And then there's price checks. But anyway, the whole point is, I am impatient and we want to see results. And we've got to remember that many of us ate poorly before we discovered the proper human diet spectrum, and specifically carnivore. We really ate junk, and I'm not going to lie, I ate some, like microwave meals and stuff a lot. I mean, we're talking about like the Michelinas. Oh yeah, or the Marie Collanders. I mean, there you have it. So Bite says, when I was keto, I tracked macros hardcore, also tested glucose and ketones every morning. It was kind of fun, but no tracking on carnivore is great. Yeah, I just don't have the patience to track. I did for a while track my blood sugar. So I would see how various things affect me. I did that when I went low carb, and I did it when I went keto. And then I also did it when I went carnivore, and I would just check it to see, like, first thing in the morning versus after I went for my walk, as an example. But then, like, I stopped. I mean, after a little while, so I'm not tracking it anymore. And I just figure, but I used to also get I ordered the A1C kit and the cholesterol kit, and I would test those things, and I kind of got obsessed with it. And then after a while, I was just like, okay, I'm not tracking this anymore. And I just was like, I'll just wait and see what my lab results are. And so I've got that coming up next week. So that's going to be fun. I have a feeling my LDL is going to be like off the charts. I mean, when I started low carb, I think my LDL was like I don't know, 110 or something. In other words, my labs were pretty good. I mean, well, according to the establishment. I mean, my blood sugar was, I don't know, it was like around 95 or something like that, I think, when I started low carb back in 2015. And as I went down the spectrum, my LDL, it shot up. And the last time that I had it checked, which was a year ago, it was like 195 just for my LDL. Now my triglycerides are 77 and my HDL is 76. So there's a 1-to-1 ratio there. And my A1C vacillates between 4.8 and 4.9. So I know that I'm metabolically healthy, but the LDL I get told every year, when the little nurse calls me and she'll say, yeah, Dr. X would like for you to take a statin. And I'm just like, you can tell Dr. X no. And then I'll say, what is my A1C? If I haven't looked it up already, because it's all electronic and I can just look it up. And but I'm trying to make a point, and she'll say, oh, well, it was 4.9. And I'm like, oh man, that's fantastic. That's better than like 99% of the population. Oh, heck yeah. I'll be like, what's my fasting blood sugar? Oh, it was 81, whatever it happened to be. Generally, it alternates between this, like the upper 70s to the, upper 80s is generally what my fasting blood sugar would be. And so I'm making a point, when I ask her these things, it's like, yeah, I'm happy with these numbers and I'm not taking a statin. And then, but the doctor never nags me. I mean, it gets dropped after that point. I just think they have to tick a box. So, all right. Well, let's see. I've been jabber-jawing. Bruce, it was good. Oh, taking your bride to the store. Well, all right. Well, I meant to say goodbye to you, but I was jabbering. So, but anyway, I hope you have a great evening. And thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. I do. I appreciate all of you. I do. And I know it's going to sound sappy and goofy, but I mean, I just feel so much love in my heart for you all. I do. So thank you for being here. And I'm just honored that you would spend the time with me. And Anne says, my highest cholesterol labs were at their highest when she ate whole food, plant-based. Now, isn't that interesting? And of course, Dr. Berry always says some people's LDL goes down when they start eating a proper human diet. And then some people's stays the same. And then some goes up. And then like a small percentage of the population, which is the lean mass hyperresponder, theirs jumps up. Now, I'm not sure whether I qualify as a lean mass hyperresponder. I would kind of think I do, but I'm not sure what the value of LDL makes you a lean mass hyperresponder. And of course, who knows what my LDL is. I'll definitely be sharing that with you. And I'm also going to be referring to this wonderful book that I recommend. And I know Dr. Berry, and that I'm not making a penny off of recommending this book by any means, but you all, and I'm sure he wouldn't mind me promoting it. If you all have not bought this book, get it. It has detailed descriptions of the labs, the reasons behind them, how to check your own blood and monitor your blood sugar and things like this. So it just really goes into the how-tos, and it's in layman's terms so that you understand what they're actually saying. There again, you don't have to have a thesaurus or a dictionary or be Googling a bunch of stuff to understand. So I really encourage you, if you have not gotten this book, to please, to get it. It's just got so much valuable information in it. So there we go. Group hug. Yes. And I think the world needs a lot more love, and maybe I'm just a goofball. I truly believe, I just believe that you can't go wrong when you love people. And that's not saying that it's easy all the time. I really do try to look at things through other people's eyes and try to understand. I may not agree with them, but I do try to understand where they're coming from and maybe try to meet them where they are. Oh, I know. And I don't know if you have boys or girls or both in the way of children, but it's another heartbreaking thing when your son doesn't hug anymore, and my son hugs me now, but I mean, there for a while, like in his late teens, he was just, I don't know if he was like self-conscious or just what it was. I mean, he's 20, oh gosh, okay. Let's see, he is 28 now, and he hugs me. And we do a lot of things together. We go to concerts together. I do if you fly, I'll buy. In other words, hey, I'll get tickets if you drive and take care of parking. And he's a great driver. He's very patient. And so that works out well for us. When we went on our road trip, we did a Route 66 road trip, and we were gone for 3 weeks. And he did all the driving, and I paid for everything, but he did all of the driving. Let me tell you, that was worth it. But we got along great. We didn't argue. We didn't fuss. And believe me, if you can take a trip with somebody, okay, y'all out there, if you want to see how well you get along with somebody, go on a road trip with them and be the person who looks at the map or looks on the old Google machine to get your directions and see just how the other person reacts if you happen to make a boo-boo or something. That might tell you a little something about whether or not you should be with that person or not. But thankfully, my son and I got along great, and it was so much fun. But the whole point is, I'm not sure what the point was, because boy, I started rambling again. Oh, about hugs. That's what it was. Okay. But anyway, we get along great, and he doesn't have any compunction about hugging me now. So that's good. Yes. Virtual hugs to you all. See, and do you feel the vibe? I mean, I do. Maybe it's all in my head, but I feel it. And I just, like I said, this whole carnivore family is phenomenal. And I feel like I know you all. And I don't know. Okay. Yeah. Teenagers, can't take them anywhere. Yeah. The good news is they eventually evolve from that. And then Christine says, I get hugs from my son if I ask. He's 34. And hey, you know what? I got to the point. But now my son didn't, if I asked, he never refused, but you could tell he was just kind of awkward about it. So I didn't ask him that much. And then gradually, as he got older, he got to where it wasn't so awkward. So, oh, yes, you feel it too, Anne. I do. And there's just nothing like it. So even if I can just come on here and talk to one person, I want to do it, because I think we all need that community. And whether I'm talking to 100 or 1,000 or just one, it doesn't matter, as long as I'm not talking to myself. God made teenagers to make it easier to push them out of the nest. Yeah. Oh, that's too funny. That's true. Thankfully, I did not have that hard of a time getting either of my kids out of the nest. And I'm not sure whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, they both left when they were, well, my son went to college. Now, my daughter didn't go to college directly after high school, but she did move out. And there's a 9-year difference between the two of them. So my son, he did go to college. So that was a bit of a different thing. But he didn't live at home after he graduated from college. He actually got a job shortly after his college graduation. and he's doing what he went to school for, but he never did move back home. So I'm not sure if that's because I was terrible to live with or if it was because that they are so responsible. I'm not sure. You'll see. Okay, Mike, yes. Went to college once, great party. Mm-hmm. Like Dave Ramsey says, you majored in beer pong, didn't you? Oh. Then Christine says, my son refused to leave, then brought me grandsons. Oh my goodness. So he brought them. So he moved back in with grandsons, or he left and gave you grandsons, and so it ended up okay. I sort of read that as he refused to leave, and then the grandsons ended up moving in too. But I may not be understanding that correctly. How did you know? Did you major in beer pong? Just a hunch. Just a hunch. They say that Pisces are intuitive. So yes, I also read up on astrology. I'm not necessarily saying I practice astrology, but man, some of it, if you get to thinking about it, some of it's like, you know what? It's kind of accurate. I don't know. Okay, yes, Scotch fillet. Now we know what she means, right? And so that's sounds delicious. I think I'm having my standard burger patties and bacon, and I think I'm going to have a little bit of my full-fat Greek yogurt. I have added just a little bit. I don't eat any other dairy, but I have added back a little bit of full-fat yogurt only to just see how I react to it, and to see if it helps any in terms of, possibly gaining a little weight. And I've heard people say that eating dairy has helped them gain some weight. A few people in Dr. Berry's private group, in his Proper Human Diet group. So, but I didn't want to try too many things at once. So I still have not introduced cheese or any other dairy. And of course, I was never much of a milk drinker. I think that I don't know that I was, like, it never made me sick, but sometimes it would just kind of make me feel queasy. So I just have not been much of a milk drinker at all. Okay, eating short ribs that I pressure Okay, I am eating beef short ribs that I pressure cooked in an Instapot. Very good. And first attempt too. Hey, you can't beat that, can you? Oh, Christine's, I'm raising my grandbabies pretty much. Their mums on the, oh no. Oh heavens, I am so sorry. Oh dear. Well, I'll be, praying for all of you. And thank goodness he's clean. Thank goodness. That's tough. And it's so hard. And it sort of falls into the any subject, whether it's somebody maybe having poor money habits, or maybe their diet, what they're eating is killing them. Just whatever it happens to be, to see somebody that you love and you just want to shake them. You just want to be like, come on now, you know better than this, but you can't. And it's so hard. I really feel that. And I'm so sorry. Let's see. Magnus found frozen Scotch fillet loins for about half price a month ago. Been eating on it at least 4 times a week, and I want to get a freezer. I don't have one. I live in a little townhouse. It's not very big, and my kitchen is the size of a postage stamp. I mean, it's little. So I just don't have. I've got to figure out where I could put a freezer. I was thinking that I could put it. There's like a little storage closet that's right outside my back door. And I thought about if I got the junk that's in it out of there, I mean, there are some useful things in there, like a rake and a shovel and a few things like that, but there's a lot of junk that's in there. And I thought maybe I could put a box freezer out there. I think that there may be a plug in there, but I've got to get to where I can see, and maybe also get an electrician to look and make sure that it would be safe to plug something in out there, but I think it would. So yeah, because I want to stock up. And this is another thing. I do buy meat at the farmer's market. What I would like to do, but I also buy it at the grocery store. And because one reason is because I just can't, I don't have a way of stocking up on it. I would like to go in with my daughter. Now, my daughter has a freezer, and what I would like to do is get like a half a cow, for example, and then she would have half of the cow, and then I would have the other half, something like that. And then that way I could freeze all that good meat and have it, because I would much rather support my local rancher. And I do that when at all possible by going to the farmer's market and buying from folks there. Let's see. If you add more water and a little salt and vinegar, you can make some really good bone broth. Speaking of bone broth, I got some the last time I went to the farmer's market. I have not attempted to make it myself, but that's one thing that I think I could do. I am cooking challenged. I would like to say that I just never learned, because I'm capable of following instructions, and then a part of me is lazy. Not going to deny that either. It's just the way I am. Or I have other things that I would rather spend my time on and do, like designing t-shirts, or just, playing around with, I don't know, various design apps and that kind of thing. And I like to draw, and I'm getting more back into doing that again. So there are other things that or reading, I would rather, okay, binge watching Carnivore live streams, people. I do that too. One live ends, and I think, yeah, I really need to go do, oh, wait, so-and-so's live. And so then I go move on to the next one. So all of that to say that I probably could make bone broth, though, because you just pretty much have to let it simmer. So I'm going to try that. I just haven't, but I did find some really good bone broth at the farmer's market. But you can't, obviously you can't let it linger, or else you have to throw it away, because there's no preservatives or anything. It's like in a can or a jar, but from what I understand online anyway, you should not eat it after just a few days. Oh, there we go. Yes, a freezer is essential. At least 30% less for bulk meat, and seal and freeze most of it. I know, I need to do that. Lots of prayers here. He had no choice. God nagged him into wake up time. And that's what has to happen. And that's whether it's with your finances, with your diet, with other habits you may have. You have to reach a point where it hurts more to stay where you are than it is to change. And it's tough. And it's tough to go through it. I've had to make some changes in my life too that were really, really hard to do. But you just wake up one day and you just are like, I can't do this anymore. This is causing too much stress. It's causing too much pain in my life. I cannot do this anymore. And then you stop. But each person has to come to their own conclusion. And like I said, it's so frustrating as someone who's loving someone, and you want what's best for them, and you care about them. So yeah. Getting my 8th grass-fed and finished beef tomorrow. I need a bigger one. Yeah. Yep. So it's an eighth of it. Yes, eighth of a cow. I'm sorry, I'm being slow here. And you need a bigger freezer. Gotcha. Go like, oh, a bigger cow. Like, just buy more meat. Oh, duh, Carrie. Now you're getting punch drunk, ain't you? Okay. Let's see. Bone broth in the instant pot for the win. Yes. Okay. Maybe that's what I need to get is an instant pot. Maybe that's what I need to get. And because from what I understand, like this is my one problem too. Of course, I told y'all my kitchen is like the size of a postage stamp, and therefore that means that I also don't have squat for counter space either. So I have to be choosy about what I get, because here's another thing that I know about myself. If I've got to stick something high up on a shelf and then drag it down every time I'm going to use it, that's just not going to happen. So I need to find something that I'm likely to use that I can just leave on the counter, and it'll just be simpler. I won't be wasting money on something that I won't use. And it's kind of like with fitness equipment. And I am, for those of you all who watched my N=1, I'm still looking at dumbbells, and I need to stop being silly and just order some. Uh, but I'm going to try dumbbells first. I'm doing body weight exercises right now, and I know that I really need to start lifting heavy things and getting some other range of motion exercises in there, and to do that slow burn. But I am doing planks and squats and things like that, and I feel myself getting stronger. I don't really see that I've put on any bulk yet, but I'm encouraged because I am getting stronger. So it's one thing at a time. And I think this is going to be a process. And I've got to remember, like Dr. Berry says, take some vitamin P, which is patience. And there again, I'm an impatient person. So I need to take my own advice on that. Okay. I have a pressure canner and jars. Need to look up instructions for putting up bone broth. Because you can it. Now, what I bought before, it wasn't canned. In other words, it wasn't intended to be put back and then eaten like 6 months later. So, yeah, I had to eat that pretty quickly, and that's the only problem. And it was expensive, but I'll tell you what, it was really, really good. It was good. Okay. Orklander, currently in the burbs, but planning to move out of town and get a lifestyle plot and have some cattle and sheep. See, that's my dream. My dream is to live in the country. My son, well, the area that he moved to, it was country when he moved there just a couple years ago, but already it's starting to build up. And now he's got 6 acres. And then he lives, this is what's crazy. He lives next door to his best friend. And they've grown up together. They were like brothers. But anyway, but now it's kind of starting to build up close around him. And it's like, now I don't know if I could move far enough out, because I don't want to be too far away from my children. But I want to live in the country so bad, and I don't know that I could maintain a place by myself. I need to find me a carnivore man that wants to farm, that enjoys getting out there and doing that stuff, I guess. Maybe that's what I need. Oh, my goodness. My dream, Magnus, do it while you can. Yep. Oh my goodness. Well, you guys, I am so thrilled and glad that you all joined me this afternoon. And it's a great pick me up. What a wonderful way to end the day. Work can be so stressful sometimes, and then to just sit and chat with some friends and just hang out, and we can talk carnivore, or we can talk about whatever. And I'm just thrilled that you all joined me today. So, if you do like, and I should have said this earlier, hello, I've got to get better at this. In the very beginning, I should have said, like, share, all that good stuff. But let's see, Mike's got something here. He lives in the country, but rents the downstairs of someone's converted barn. Oh, that's cool. I knew somebody who actually did have a barn converted on the back of their property, and they rented it out to people. And it was nice. It was beautiful. I wouldn't have minded living in it. It was gorgeous. It was just so rustic and homey. Had a nice, it even had a fireplace, nice fireplace made with stone. It was gorgeous, just beautiful. It looked like, it reminded me of like a little cabin in Gatlinburg, like one of those little chalets. That's what it reminded me of. It was just, I really did like that little place. Oh, enjoyed the campfire even without the marshmallows. That's right. That's right. And of course, I know a lot of people be like, it's a little hot for a campfire. Yes, this is true. But depending on where you live and what time of year it is, I mean, we did have somebody from NZ in here. So you just never know what season it is. So in NZ, it might be the perfect time for a campfire. Fast pitch in Iowa. Okay, I'm going to fast pitch. Okay, a pitch is, I know what unless I'm not sure what a pitch can be, a football field or like a soccer field. And I'm thinking that this is talking about rugby, but I'm not sure. That's my uneducated guess. That's my guess from reading a lot. Get nesting dumbbells. Very low storage space needed. Okay. Oh, so that way I would just have maybe a few. See, the ones that I was thinking about getting are the ones that have the little plates that come off and on. And I'm just concerned about trying to change plates out to get to the weight that I need. So I'll check into the nesting ones. I had not thought of those. Thank you so much for that. Yes, I will look into nesting dumbbells. And then I suppose I could always get more if I needed more than what they have, like the size or whatever, the amount of weight. So that's something that I can think about too. Let's see. Ran track and played football a very long time ago. I was never really athletic. A lot of people thought I should play basketball because I was tall and thin. I think a part of it is I just felt very, very awkward, and I never was. I mean, although some people thought that I should play, I was never really encouraged to do it, and I never really got up the nerve to try out for anything. So I never did. I did, however, a group of friends and I would go to the park after school and play tennis. And I was actually pretty good at that, although I never, like, there again, maybe it was self-confidence problems or something, but I never did try out for tennis. But I did like to play, and I was pretty good at it then. So that might be something that I could get into again. I hadn't thought about tennis in a long time. She's talking about baseball or softball. Softball. Okay. Well, they play on a field too. Okay. Yes, I am 5'9". That's how tall I am. And the last time I went to the doctor, well, it was I see a specialist like once every, like 6 months or so, because I do have like a messed up disc in my neck, and it doesn't bother me anymore and stuff. But they, sometimes though, my shoulder muscles will tense up, and part of that is because I don't get up away from my desk enough. I'll get involved in what I'm doing, and then I'm sitting there, and I know my posture's not the best either. Anyway, that was not my primary care doctor that I had gone to. That was this specialist, and I weighed 119.4 at their office. So I'm 5'9" at 119.4, and I don't know what I weigh because I don't own a scale. I don't have one. I don't think I've owned a scale and I don't know how long. Oh, Christine's grandsons keep telling her that she's shrinking. Oh, it's so funny the way kids say things and communicate, and it's so cute and they provide such a fresh perspective on things too. I think back like just to being a child and just how curious and the world was just a wondrous thing, and you always had questions. And I remember one time I fell down like off of a bank into a creek, and I ended up landing on my back, and I was just laying there, and basically it knocked the breath out of me. And a neighbor had seen it happen, and so he came running over there and was like checking, and then somebody apparently went and got my mom, and so she came down there. And then I remember the person, they said, well, I don't think there's any bones broken. They were asking me like, does this hurt? Does this hurt? And that kind of thing. And then said that they didn't think any bones were broken. And I remember laying there thinking, he's crazy. You can't break your bones. This is funny. Oh, thank you, Nicole. Yes, I'm still running at the mouth. Oh my gosh, I know. But I enjoy just interacting and talking with everybody. It's just a great way to end the workday too. It's so much better than, I don't know, just like being by yourself. I like to read and of course binge watch carnivore videos, but truthfully, just hanging out with you guys is just like awesome. And Mike says, a bunch of Vikings in this part of Iowa. A lot of the chicks are taller than me. I tell a lot of short jokes. I'm 5'5" with shoes on. You need to get you some stacks. Yeah, that's what you need to do. Like some Gene Simmons shoes or some of those disco shoes. Hey, I think that stuff supposedly is coming back. Or maybe it is already back. I don't know. I've seen, maybe these people are just adventurous, but anyway, I have seen people wearing what looks like 70s clothes to me, and I'm just like, wow, okay, so that's back in style now. So yeah, get you some stacks. And Anne says she's 4'11" barefoot. Well, there you go, Mike. There you go. She's not taller than you. Oh, yeah. It's funny because my best friend growing up, she was like 5 feet tall, and I was like 5'9", anywhere between 5'7" and 5'9", while we were teenagers. And so she was just a little bitty petite thing, and then I was just this tall beanpole. But I sort of looked like I could have belonged in their family. I just looked like I was the mutant one. But there was like, they used to get family passes to go to the pool, and so I would just sit in the back seat, and back then they didn't like do individual IDs or anything. It was just like you presented your family pass, and then so you got in. And so I didn't say anything and was just sitting back there. And so they showed the family pass, and I mean, I just looked like any of one of the other kids in that family. And so I got to go to the pool for free. Oh gosh. Let's see, 4'9" is a legal short person. I applied for the scholarship years ago and was told you were too tall at 5 feet. Well, crud. So you're 5 feet. Missed it by that much. Yeah. What does he say? I'm as tall as Ronnie James Dio was. And for a long time, I mean, he just had such a large personality. I didn't know that I just thought he was like 6'8". I kind of thought he was like Bruce Dickinson or something. And I didn't realize that he was not that tall. That's something. And of course, David Lee Roth. Yeah, I was surprised. I guess it's the way they take the photos and stuff too. And just the stage presence. I don't know. Because I never did see Dio actually, but I did see Van Halen with David Lee Roth. I never did see Van Hagar. Never did see them. Okay, let's see. My upper cabinet shelves are always empty. Yeah, because it's a struggle to, well, and kind of the same difference for me. Like the only thing I have up on the top shelves is stuff that I don't use, because if it's too much of a hassle to get it down, I'm not fooling with it. So I do have a few things on my top shelf in the kitchen, in my pantry closet, if you can call it a pantry. It's really just a closet with some shelves in it, a little closet. Let's see. Yes, Nicole's got a step stool in her Jeep and her kitchen. And then Mike said that his grandmother had a step stool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've got a step stool actually, so that I can change out my own light bulbs and stuff so that I don't have to bother somebody else to do it. I mean, it would be kind of sad for me to call my son and be like, hey, can you change my light bulb? Oh, you're Sicilian. My dad was adopted, but there's a wild story behind all of that. But anyway, so I believe he's Scotch Irish, and then my mother's whole side of the family is German. And so like all the men, well, it was funny because my grandmother was like 5 feet tall. She was a petite thing. But like my grandfather was like 6'5". And my uncles and my brothers are tall. So yeah, everybody's like just tall and lanky, except for my grandmother. She was petite. She was petite. Well, 50% is 50%. That's considerable Sicilian. And step stool ladders, long handle grippers. Oh yeah, we call those grabbers. Those things that's got a little trigger on them, and then they have the little teeth, or whatever. They just kind of like pinchers, and you just reach up with those things. Yeah, my ex-husband's grandmother used to have some of those grabbers, and she would, if some of the grandkids and great grandkids were misbehaving, she'd reach out with that thing and just like pinch them on the arm or something with it. Let's see. Mike says that when he was a weather guy, people would tell him, you look taller on TV. And he'd say, because I'm standing in front of Texas. Yep. Magnus says it's the lack of meat growing up. My olds and grandparents were really short. Me and my siblings are normal height, and our kids are towering over 6 feet. That could be. And see, but okay. Now, see, my grandfather was tall, but my grandmother was really small. She was petite. And my mother, well, they were farmers. That was what they were from Nebraska, and they farmed. So I guess they had plenty of meat. And I think my grandmother grew up on a farm too, but I'm not 100% sure about that. Or she did. Yeah. And that's interesting. Yeah. It's just interesting. And of course, there's genetics too. There are just some groups of people that just aren't, they're just not as tall traditionally as other people might be, or other groups. So Nicole says she just always thought she was absent for her growth spurt. It's like, yeah. Oh, I know what it was. When they were handing out spurts, you thought they said squirts and said, nope, I don't want any. Okay. All right. And y'all are still here. But boom. Psh. Magnus says, our diet didn't include much meat, but a lot of dairy. My parents said they mainly had whatever was in the bone stew. Our kids are now eating a decent amount of protein and meat, and it shows. Wow. I know. Let's see. Dad was a butcher at Wakatu. We always ate meat. There you go. Dad was a butcher. So you probably know more about cuts of meat than the average person does. I just think it comes down to, there again, terms, what people call things. But that's pretty good. Karen. Hey, how's it going? Glad you're here. Oh, ha ha. Mike, it's in the genes. Okay. Yeah. So Karen is 5'4". I used to want to be about 5'4". That was, oh man, it was tough being, for the longest time I thought I was 5'7", and I think I was 5'7", but I think I had a late growth spurt. Because I was quite shocked to find out, as like in my early 20s, that I was actually 5'9". As I thought, up until that point, I thought I was still 5'7", but I guess either that or maybe they had just measured my height wrong, and I'm not sure. But anyhow, so being 5'9" and being a beanpole, and I wanted to just be shorter so I wouldn't stand out so much. This is so fun. Okay, Christine's 5'4". So we've got some. So I wonder what the average height is. It seems like I saw something maybe that Dr. Berry or Dr. Chafee or it could have been during an interview with Dr. Eads, because I think it was talking about like average heights and how that the average height actually had gone down. I'll have to look at that and see what the average height is. I don't remember what they said it was now for like men versus women and stuff. I'll have to see if I can find that interview. I'm pretty sure that's where I heard them talking about that, because they were talking about the anthropological benefits of eating, primarily fatty red meat and seafood, fish, things like that, and before the agricultural revolution. And they were talking about the differences, but then they did talk about the current height and weight, but I'm not going to sit here and Google it, but that'll be an interesting thing to talk about at some point. Nicole has been very busy. Oh, wow. Really? Guys average 5'9". Wow. I don't know. I guess I figured guys would be like maybe, well, I guess 5'9" is, I don't know. I guess I expected guys to be taller than that. Let's see, like my ex-husband he was 6 feet exactly. And I did go out with somebody that he was 5'9" too, and it was just really weird. I mean, not saying I didn't like it, but I mean, it was just strange, to be just like looking them in the eye instead of looking up at them. I don't know. It was just weird. Well, see, that's good though, Nicole. See, that's good. I mean, and YouTube is fun and stuff, but I mean, you're helping so many people too with your business, and that's just a wonderful thing to do. And people are lucky to be able to get personalized treatment from you, because I don't know, I just click with you. I mean, your sense of humor and everything, and I could imagine that it would be awesome to be able to, just really talk with you one-on-one. And I know you would just be encouraging them, and but yet at the same time, being no BS and no nonsense either. So yeah, but you keep going, rock on, rock on. Then Karen's hubby is 6'2". She's stuck under his chin. Mike said, wow. So we're a couple of guys in the United States are 5'9" on average, and everywhere else in the world 5'7". My goodness. I was not expecting that. And it's 5'4". Well, that explains why we have so many 5'4" chicks in the chat tonight. So I'm the Amazon woman. I was very good friends with a girl in high school though, who was 5'11". So she was a couple inches taller than me, and so we it's funny because we just kind of gravitated to each other. She has a very vivacious personality, always has, and us two together, we were cut ups. And I was not quite as vivacious then as I am now. I'm more liable to cut up or joke or say something without being concerned that I'm just going to sound like a total idiot. And of course, being on Carnivore has actually, look at this, y'all, I'm doing a live stream and I'm not anxious about it. And matter of fact, I'm just, feeling like I said earlier, man, feeling the Carnivore love. This is just fun. This is awesome. And then, oh, wait. Okay. Karen had lost an inch from back surgery. Wow. Plus shrinking. Oh, wow. I've heard of that happening, but I never knew anybody that it actually happened to. Wow. I guess because maybe they took out like maybe a disc, not a disc, but a vertebrae possibly, or something like that. Wow. And Mike says he dated a girl who was 5'8". But a boom. Or maybe that's true. You never know with Mike. Never know. Oh, thank you. I appreciate you. I really do. I appreciate you so much. Nicole says, if I get any shorter, I might qualify for that short person scholarship. Yeah, next time you might want to take the spurts. Or who knows? I mean, now maybe you can just say that you're a short person, or isn't that what they say? Yeah, that I want to use the correct terminology, but at the same time, maybe now you can just say, well, I am a short person, and they just have to put you in the running for it. You never know. Nowadays, I mean, beans are meat. They're in the meat group now, which is really now the protein group, because there really isn't a meat group anymore. As you know. Yeah, it was crazy. I had done a little bit of going down a rabbit hole with the whole thing I was researching about nutrients in foods, and ended up on the My Plate site. And boy, yeah, I had no idea there was no longer a meat group. So now you can, And they tell vegetarians that they don't have to worry about any recommendations to eat meat. All right. Let's see. You're chilling. Well, I'm chill. I'm doing something. uh no, I am chilling and I'm so relaxed. I mean, and this is like better than, I don't know. I mean, not that I ever had after work drinks very often, but I mean, it's so much, just chilling out, and I'm not having to worry about driving home. uh, yes, that's it. Say I identify as a short person, and then they have to let you because that's what you are. They probably won't because that only applies to certain things, but they might. All right. Let's see. Okay. All right, you guys. I really am going to go ahead. My goodness, see, time flies when you're having fun. We've been on here for a good long time. We have been on here since, let's see, 5:05, and it's 6:50. And it's flown by. This is just crazy. I mean, it's gone by so fast. And I would just sit here and talk all night. I mean, I could probably do a 24-hour thing. Um, I would even do it like at 4 a.m. or something. I saw Aaliyah was messing around with Scott, Carnivore Scott, and said something about, do you want to come on at 4 a.m. on the 17th? And I'm like, hey, I will. I don't mind. I just love this. I love just talking with everybody. And let's see. Nicole says, I thought average for women was 5'5" and men 5'10". I didn't expect it to be, but then I haven't looked into it. But I expected it to be taller too. I really did. I mean, I sort of figured that in the United States that the averages would be a little more than maybe worldwide, but I did not expect the numbers to be as low as what Mike said. But then again, it could depend on the source. It's so hard to know. It's hard to know what to believe. All right, Mike, thank you so much. Oh, yeah, heading over to watch some football. Well, thanks. I appreciate you being here. I really do. And you have fun and go team. All right. Good night, Ann. Okay. He Googled, so who knows, right? I mean, there could be anything out there. Okay, you guys, I love you all. I am so, okay, Mike's saying go Chiefs. So that's who the team is. Okay, I just always say go team. It's funny because a lot of times people who aren't into sports, they'll say stuff like that. It's just funny. I used to actually love football. Looky here. Nicole says go Eagles. Yep, I used to be like heavily into football. I guess when I used to, before we had a team here in Nashville, or I guess technically it's the state's team, which it feels unfair that we have to share the team with the whole state. Anywho, I used to be a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. And then we got the Titans. And so then I became a Titans fan. But then politics got mixed up in sports. And so I don't watch that much, but I do watch college ball. So anywho. Oh, Nicole, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And man, you guys are just amazing too. I'm so glad you hung out with me. And it's been great conversation. It's just flowed so well, I think. I mean, other than the times when I went off on a little tangent, went out in left field, but I did find my way back. Oh, he's saying, let's see, he's saying, oh, wait a minute. So see, so yeah, well, maybe Mike has more than one. Well, hey, you're back, but I think we're fixing to call it a night though, because um, I'm sure that folks have other things to do. Although, like I was saying before, man, I think I could go 24 hours, on the 24-hour stream, and get me going. Be like, put a gag on her, shut her up. So you had to go away for din. What'd you have? Football, baseball, etc. is not my jam. Yeah, in my youth, I actually like to watch hockey with my dad. My dad's Canadian, and so we would watch hockey, and that was a tricky endeavor because we had a little black and white TV, and you could barely see the puck. But my dad was a big time hockey fan. He liked the Toronto Maple Leafs. That was his team. And that was way before the Preds, way before we got the Predators. Smashed burger patties cooked on the grill. Oh, yep. I'm going to have burgers, meal prepped burgers. I'm not cooking any fresh. I did meal prep earlier in the week, and this is one of those days where I'm just going to nuke them in some bacon that I've meal prepped. And I might eat a boiled egg or two. I don't know. And then I'm going to eat some Greek yogurt, full fat Greek yogurt. I get Cabot's. That is a delicious Greek yogurt, and I get it at Publix. All right, you guys, I love you all so much. And thank you for being with me. And I do have another stream that's scheduled for Monday, and it's called Meat and Metal Monday. Now, we'll talk about all kinds of stuff, but I mean, I do like talking about my metal, and we kind of got into that just a teeny little bit with talking about Ronnie James Dio. So anyway, join me Monday, to unwind after a Monday at work. I mean, you know how that is, right? And we'll just have a good time. We'll talk meat, metal, music, whatever. And that is 4:30 Central Time. So anyway, I love you guys. You all take care, and I'll be seeing you again soon. Thanks. Bye, y'all.